Hey guys, after my computer running out of space, I bought a new external hard drive, also a 2 TB, but this time I gave Western Digital a go, and it's been working pretty well so far. So far, I think it's better than my old Seagate. Never buying Seagate ever again. So yeah, now the real actual videos, not just some unedited simple ones anymore. So most of you are probably learning or working at home. And if you have a nice and working computer, that's great. But if your or your kid's computer started to act up and have problems, is becoming too old, broke, or run away, you're probably looking into buying a new computer. And if you're on a tight budget, you're probably looking at three kinds of things: a brand new cheap PC laptop, a used MacBook, most likely 2012 Unibody Pros and 2013 to 15 MacBook Airs, or a brand new Chromebook. So in this video, I'm going to compare which of them is the best for you. But no, I don't have PC because, I'm an Apple sheep and I'm broke. But what I do have is a 2014 MacBook Air, which I use every day, and can be found on eBay for around $350 to $400. What I also have is this Lenovo 500E Chromebook 2-in-1, which costs $369 brand new. And no, I didn't actually buy it for $369. My school district generously rent this to me for free, and just about every other student that needed or wanted one. So because it's my schools, there's my school district's name and logo engraved into this top lid. I also need to take care of this because I need to return it afterwards. I've been talking for way too long, so let's just get the video started. Let's take a look at the exterior. The MacBook Air is almost all aluminum, while the Chromebook is made of plastic and rubber. So MacBook definitely has a better build quality. Let's open the lid. As you can see that the Lenovo screen is covered by glass, while the MacBook is covered by plastic with thick aluminum bezels. The Lenovo's bezels are covered by the same piece of glass. The Chromebook side bezels are also slightly thinner than the MacBooks, but the bottom bezel is way thicker because of this plastic chin, so the screen is gonna sit higher. Now, for the keyboard, I think the Lenovo's keys are slightly denser than more close together than the MacBooks. The trackpads are similarly sized and both support multi-touch gestures, but the Lenovo's is plastic and the MacBook's is matte glass. Let's talk more about the screens. They both have a 1366 by 768, 16 by 9 display measuring at just over 11 inches. Both of them are not anti-glare and cannot display P3 colors. But as you may have noticed, the Lenovo screen is covered by a single sheet of glass, which I think I mentioned earlier in this video. And that's because, yes, it is a touchscreen. Before I got this, I've always thought I would never need a touchscreen laptop. But once you actually use a touchscreen laptop, you'll start to realize how useful a touchscreen on a laptop can be. You can just tap to open an app or dismiss a notification, which will take way longer with a trackpad or mouse. I really wish Apple would start making touchscreen MacBook. And although both have thick bezels, the Lenovo's bezels appear thinner when the screen is off because it has black bezels instead of silver ones on the MacBook. Now, the specs. We all know that specs aren't everything, but we're just still gonna talk about it because it's still very important. The MacBook has a 4th gen dual-core Intel Core i5 processor clocked at 1.4 GHz with boost clocks up to 2.7 GHz. The processor model is the Core i5 4260U. The U at the end meaning it's a mobile chip. It also has 4 GB of RAM. That's configurable to 8 GB but can't be upgraded later. So most of them right now on eBay have 4 GB of RAM, which is less than like most new phones. It also comes with 128GB of SSD as standard, but it can be upgraded later. And 128GB is a bit too small for most people. You can upgrade it, but you need to buy a screwdriver that fits in the Apple's proprietary pentalobe screw holes. And you also have to have a adapter so you can use NVMe drives in Apple's proprietary SSD connectors. A good half terabyte NVMe SSD can still set you back 70 to $100. So most people probably won't bother to do it, but you can if you want to. The Lenovo has a quad-core Intel Celeron processor clocked at 1.1 GHz and up to 2.4 GHz. Comparing the Geekbench scores, both perform very badly, like worse than like most smartphones released after 2018. Although the MacBook is slightly more powerful and got around 300 more points than the Lenovo. It also has 4GB of soldered on RAM, same as a MacBook, but only 32GB of non-upgradable SSD. Because Google just expects you to use Google Drive and stuff like that. There is a micro SD card slot on the Lenovo, so that's a nice addition, so you can expand the storage. And you can't download big apps anyway, because it's a Chromebook, and almost everything is web-based. So the MacBook is definitely the more powerful one here. I do 1080p 30 video editing in Final Cut Pro, and while it's a bit laggy, it's mostly fine and can edit a whole video on this. In fact, this video is edited entirely on a 2014 MacBook Air. But when I'm editing like 4K video, it struggles and lags a lot, and it's basically unusable when you're editing 4K videos. And for the Lenovo, it's also fine, but you probably won't run can't run intensive games and apps on this. Because why they call the OS Chrome OS again? Well, because, you use Chrome the browser. But the MacBook is definitely faster when processing large images, and as for the 4GB of RAM, it's perfectly fine for the Chromebook, but too small for the MacBook running full macOS. It is going to be laggy when you open too many apps. My MacBook Air's RAM almost maxed out, like all the time. Now, a small part, but also an important part of a laptop, the hinge. The MacBook's hinge is great, like almost every other MacBook. Not too loose or too tight. It's easy to open up with one hand, but not too loose to make the screen wobbly. But it only goes back this far, which might not be enough for some tall people or in some specific situations. The Lenovo's hinge is tight, so it's difficult, if not almost impossible, to open up with one hand. And when you try to adjust it while it's open with one hand, it'll often just tip over. That's probably to prevent the screen from wobbling when you're touching it, so I kinda understand why they made it so tight. But the nice thing about the Lenovo is that it can go back further, actually way further than the MacBook. You can open it to, this far. You can make it flat. You can even flip it around to make it a tablet. Yes, this is a 2-in-1 for only $317. But it isn't really practical for you to use as a tablet because it's heavy, thick, and bulky. Not like dedicated tablets like iPads, which are light and thin. It also feels weird when you're pressing your hand on the keys on the keyboard when using it as a tablet. So I think using it as a normal laptop in tent mode or the stand mode are way more practical. But anyways, the hinge on the Lenovo is way better than the MacBook in terms of adjustability, but it is tighter than I would like it to be, and for one-handed opening, the MacBook definitely wins. Now, an important part of your laptop, the keyboard. Both the MacBook and the Chromebook have a full-size keyboard without a numpad, of course, and I definitely prefer the MacBook here. The MacBook's keyboard is definitely better. The Lenovo's keyboard does look a bit denser, like the keys look a bit more close together than the MacBooks, but I think that's it. With the MacBook, you're getting Apple's amazing scissor key mechanism. Then they screwed everything up by switching to the butterfly keyboard a year later, but we're not going to talk about that today. The keys are clicky, whereas the MacBook's is mushy. The MacBook also has a keyboard backlight, so you can type easily in low light environments. And not to mention, the Chromebook doesn't even have a caps lock key. You can reprogram the search key or other keys to be the caps lock key though. And now just listen to the typing sounds. I personally prefer the MacBook, but which one do you think is better? You can comment below with which one you prefer. Now we can take a look at the trackpad. The sizes are about the same, both measuring at about 12 centimeters or 4.7 inches diagonally. They also both support multi-touch gestures, but the MacBook's trackpad is also built better. It's made out of frosted glass instead of plastic. So the MacBook's trackpad is definitely better. But I mean, a good trackpad is like a given for a MacBook because they always have good trackpads. I/O on computer are also very important. On the MacBook, we have two USB-A ports. It's USB 3.0 and there's one on each side. A headphone jack and a Thunderbolt 2 port, which can also function as a mini display port. But on the Chromebook, you have way more. There's two USB 3.0 USB-A ports, also a headphone jack, but it also has two USB-C ports. Although only one can actually transfer data, the other is just for charging. And also a micro SD card slot, which is really handy because this Chromebook only have like 32 gigabytes of storage, so you gotta have some kind of expansion. But how about battery life? Well, I'll tell you through my own personal experience. I used my MacBook for my first few weeks of online class. I started off the day with 100% battery, and I charged it during every possible break. And I did manage to finish the class, but barely. At the end of class, which is like 4.5 hours on Zoom, I only have 2% left. And no, that's not because my battery is super degraded. It's still in pretty good shape. But when I started to study on the Chromebook, the battery life was way better. I also started off at 100%, but without even charging it during break. I'll often finish the school day with somewhere between 25 to 35% of battery left. So the Chromebook's battery life is way better. And speaking of online class, here's how the webcam and microphone sounds. This is how the webcam looks like and how the microphone sounds like on the 2014 MacBook Air. And this is exactly what it's gonna look like and sound like if you're in an online class or in a video conferencing software such as Zoom. So listen and see for yourself. Is this microphone and webcam quality good? And this is what the webcam looks like and how the microphone sounds like on the Chromebook Lenovo 500E. This is also exactly what you're gonna see or hear when you're in a video conference or in online school in software such as Zoom or Google Meet. So also see for yourself, is this webcam or microphone better or worse than the MacBook? So which one should you buy? Well, it depends on what you primarily use your laptop for. If you just use it to browse the web and basically do nothing else, and also use it to do online school, then the Chromebook is for you. The Lenovo is great, but there are also many more great choices in the $300 to $400 price range for Chromebooks out there. And by the way, the Chromebook, which is the Lenovo 500E, literally got discontinued like a week before I started filming this video. So other great choices include the Lenovo S345 and the HP Chromebooks. But if you primarily use it for web browsing, but also do other things sometimes, such as some light photo editing, video editing, or some more intense stuff like playing some light games, then the MacBook is for you, because the Chromebook is a very limited machine and basically can't do these things. Not to mention, macOS is a more open operating system than Chrome OS, like having a real file system and being able to download and use apps from anywhere, not just from the Chrome web store or something like that. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped you. Comment, like, and subscribe. Merry Christmas and Happy 2021. Happy New Year. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!